On this episode of Samp&Chance Boxing, guys, we are going back to Saudi Arabia Riyadh season. Bivol, Beterbiev, controversy galore. Great fight, though. Also, we're going to talk about the Cameron Whitaker over the top rope fiasco, the things that happened after the fact. Guys, we have all that. Wardley Fraser as well. Fraser went home with a dent in his face. We're going to cover that as well. And this weekend, we have the return of Tszyu after 7 months against Fedora after that brutal cut. He's going after the IBF super welterweight title. We're going to cover all that and so much more on this episode of Samp&Chance. So strap in and thank you for leading us into years. And guys, if you've made it this far, like and subscribe. Samp&Chance, here we go. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Samp&Chance Boxing. I am Bobby Sampson, joined as always, my man with the master plan, Mr. Chance Michaels. Chance, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. Yourself?
Can't complain, man. It's Thursday Eve, so that means we're gearing up for a weekend of great combat sports. Again, probably a quieter weekend than normal, just in general, so to speak. But hey, we have the Tszyu fight coming up this weekend, so we will touch on that. But before that, we have to go back to Saudi Arabia and talk about all the things that happened. I thought maybe we would just be talking Bivol and Beterbiev here for this portion, but man, that card delivered some interesting storylines throughout now. So a pretty decent card overall. But let's get into it, man. Let's break it down. Let's talk about our man, Dmitry Bivol, Arthur Beterbiev. Okay, right off the bat, what did you see?
Seen a very, very good fight. I'm doing pretty good on my predictions with Beterbiev winning and with Dubois. So if you guys have been listening, I've been making some money in your pocket if you're betting what I've been saying. I did say he was going to knock him out, but I also bet him to win. Anyways, let's break down the fight. Most people are saying Dmitry Bivol won. I don't see it that way. I had it pretty much tied going into the 10th round, and then Beterbiev, I thought, won the championship rounds. Actually, I think every judge except the last judge had a tie going into those rounds. So they were scoring it the way I was seeing it. What did Beterbiev do in these championship rounds that I'm talking about? He was smashing the body. He was wearing Bivol down. Bivol was looking tired. His legs weren't the same legs he had in the 5th and 6th rounds. I thought Beterbiev, he kept his right hand up. He was blocking that hook. He wasn't getting hit. He fought a very smart fight. Very, very close fight. I think the fight was decided from round 10 to round 12. I had it pretty much even. And I thought Beterbiev won the last few rounds, championship rounds, take the fight. Great fight. But I think the judges got it right. The one scorecard was a little bit far-fetched, 8-4, 116, 112. But overall, I thought they got it right. Beterbiev won a close decision. But this is not a robbery. Even if they gave it the other way to Bivol or to Beterbiev, it's not a robbery either way because the fight was that close. It was a heck of a fight. And Beterbiev never goes that long. He wasn't used to it, but he broke Bivol down, and Bivol's legs were getting tired, which I think affected the fight. So I totally agree with the decision. I thought Beterbiev took it.
Yeah, okay. I'm going the other way. I think Bivol took it by 2 rounds, only just because, as I said to you, going into that 6th round, it was 3-2, right? I gave the first 3 rounds, and yeah, Bivol, and then Arthur kind of came in strong in the 4th and 5th round. Those were his rounds. 6th round onwards, it was up and down, up and down. This is where it gets really dodgy. Yeah, he came out pretty hard in the 11th, but I was going to give the 12th to Bivol. I thought Bivol, showed more in that 12th round. If you look at the total punches thrown, Arthur threw 1,023 punches in that fight, landing 583, compared to what's his face, to Bivol's, he threw 583, landing 219. Arthur threw 1,023 punches, landing 233. So yeah, he landed, but a lot of those shots that he was throwing were hitting the gloves and stuff. Now, I think most people don't have a problem with the decision, but they're picking on that one card, and you can't just pick on the one card. Like you, I was okay if it went either way. I think most of the people upset and angry about this is the fact that 116, 112 card. And, and I think that just kind of comes right back into the problem we have with judging, right?
Yeah, sometimes we get some bad decisions in boxing. This time they got it right, though. I don't know. the one ref seen it or the one judge seen it 8-4. That's a little bit of a stretch, but a lot of the shots Bivol was throwing, as I mentioned before, Beterbiev had his right hand up. He's blocking him. He was getting ready for the hook. He had everything ready to go. And he started breaking his body shots. People forget how hard Beterbiev punches. He just kept breaking that body down, and Bivol's legs were getting. He was tired.
Brother, I'm going to make a call on this. I think we should give this another round, man. We have so much more we need to say on this. So let's just give this another round right now. You know what? And I agree with you, but it could be said on both sides of there, right? Like, I mean, whatever Beterbiev was throwing as well, a lot of it was just hitting the mitt, right? It wasn't really getting in. The shots that were getting in were hard. I think a lot of people have to also look at it from this perspective. This is the first time Beterbiev has fought someone that he couldn't knock out.
Yep.
Right. I mean, there has to be some mad credit given to Bivol here for withstanding the storms. Because I mean, anyone says a punch by Beterbiev, you know, even Bivol said the next day that Beterbiev hits harder than Canelo.
Oh, he does.
He did an interview the next morning where he talked about everything. And one of the questions that they asked him was, you know, who hits harder? He goes, well, Canelo's punch is hard in the beginning. Right. But then after that, it gets softer and softer and softer. Whereas Beterbiev, it's not as hard as Canelo per se, but it's consistent.
Yeah.
Which hurts more as the fight goes on. There were a couple of times where he was buckled 100%, but he didn't go down. And I think the one thing that I have to say about both guys, and I think this would have happened if the decision went the other way, the humility and the respect that these guys have for boxing and the sport and their actions is amazing. Like, you got a guy here, Bivol could have been upset. He could have been, you know, most American guys would have thrown a fit, would have been angry, aka Devin Haney. You know what I mean? You know, is a prime example. But this guy said, look, I lost. There are no excuses. I have to go back to the gym tomorrow and I have to be better.
Yeah.
What did Beterbiev do? Did you know about this? Like, you know, Beterbiev, after the fight, he went to pray.
He's gonna start training again. Yeah, it was a close fight. Like I said, I watched it twice, but I came to the same conclusion. I had it tied up into the last few rounds, and then Beterbiev was breaking him down in the body, which I think won him the fight because Bivol didn't have the same pop in his legs anymore. His legs were getting heavy. Trust me, when you have heavy cement legs, I know it's hard to move in there, and when you're not moving your legs, you start panicking, and that's what I think happened. Also, Beterbiev was more aggressive too. Judges look at that too. He's always coming forward, and that helped them too. And the judges got it right. The one scorecard is a little bit off, but the judges got it right. I feel Beterbiev. Now, most people, a lot of experts, except for a few, are saying that they had Bivol, but I seen it as Beterbiev one. They got it right. We'll see a rematch. It was such a good fight, and we'll see it again. I actually think Beterbiev took a little bit out of Bivol. Bivol withstood all those heavy shots. Could he withstand all those heavy shots a second time? Well, I don't know. But Beterbiev's almost 40, though. Let's not forget that.
Well, let's not forget that as well. And, you know, and no disrespect to anyone else in that division, there is no other fight to make. I don't, you know.
Well, last thing I'm going to say, all the experts are saying, oh, his corner kept saying, you're losing, you got to win. Of course they did. That's what you do to motivate your fight. I heard it last Friday night at the amateur fights. You're losing. Even the guy's winning. They make you go harder. So we can't, just because his corner said that. People are like, oh, they knew he's losing. We don't know that. They're trying to pump Beterbiev up to keep putting the pressure on him.
You're supposed to do that in your corner. Obviously, you don't want to take your foot off the gas, especially against someone that, you know, is probably being your hardest competition in your 20 fights, right? I mean, we got to props to both guys. We said this last week as well. This could be a draw. You can't go wrong with who wins in this one because it's going to be that kind of fight. That kind of fight was delivered. We got what we thought we were going to see. It could have gone either way. I don't have a problem with the decision because, like I said, it could have gone either way.
I think the judges got it right this time. I think they got it right.
I think ultimately people are clinging on to that 16-12 card, which didn't make any sense. You know, 15-13, sure. I have no problem with it. 14-14.
Exactly how I had it. Both,
right?
Exactly how I had
14-14, I had no problem with that either because of just the way that fight was. The question comes down to, what do we do about judges? You know, like I would love to understand, are they all sitting in the same spot? Are they all positioned at different spots at the ring? You know, because if that's the case, what are they watching? They all see different fights. It doesn't matter what angle you're at. Unless you're not, if you're watching it on TV, that's the most uniformed view that anyone will have. When you're there live, it doesn't matter. It depends where you're sitting in that arena. That's the angle you're seeing it from, right?
Yeah. So how we and they do this at all the boxing fights. They spread the judges out, right? Because they don't want them colluding or contriving. So perfect example is how we do it at the boxing fights is get one judge here, one judge there, one judge. We position them around the ring, and then nobody can go up to them. So before the fighters are walking out, after the fights, there's security, and you can't go up to the judges. And even at the lower level, right, they try to keep it as unbiased, as professional as possible, and it
I think
is. But so they do that at the boxing. They spread them around the ring. These judges are, you know, we only focus on the bad decisions. There's just a few bad ones, way too many bad ones. There shouldn't be any bad ones, but more times they get it right than they do get it wrong. But when they get it wrong, it
yeah,
screws
when
everything up, which
well,
is it's
dude,
unfair. But
it's like anybody. You can be a great person, do great things,
mm,
be humanitarian, and be beautiful. The minute one bad thing happens, that's all people are going to latch on, right?
mm,
So that's just human nature. It's just the way we are. Judges, I almost feel that we need to figure out a way. Maybe they shouldn't be at ringside. Maybe they should be in a separate room somewhere, like in the NFL where the war rooms are for the instant replays and the hockey places. Like, you don't get those instant replay guys down at the ice level. They're in a booth. Put these guys in a booth. If you're gonna have judges, put them in a booth, have monitors so they're all watching the exact
and
same
thanks for
thing.
bringing this up. Bivol took it classy, but his team is already crying and saying we're protesting that judge. We want to go after him. It's like, but either way, because the 116, 112, they're so outraged by it. But I
Well,
mean,
they're not
come
they're
on.
not they're not going after the result. They're just going after the judge so he doesn't make a stupid call again. Right? That's it. They know the decision's not going to be changed.
No, I know, but to me, that's sour grapes. So Bible's taking the high road and they've got sour grapes. The decision's not going to be overturned. That's final. There's no steroids involved. There's no cheating
No,
involved.
no,
That's
you
how
know,
one judge cheated. And to be honest, 8-4 is not, I wouldn't have got it that way, but it's not that crazy. It's not that far fetched if you break down the criteria of what the
I
judges
think it
scored
is
as.
based on the way the both guys fought. Like it was just too outrageous that way, right? I mean, I think that's what they're arguing. It's not so much that they're arguing that he lost; they've accepted that. I think his team is arguing the fact that this judge made such a
Yeah, but it makes me wonder, Bible's being so humble, and then your team's doing that. So obviously he's agreeing with them doing that, or he would have said, hey guys, no, shut it down.
you know what?
Shut it down. We're not doing it. So Devin Haney, sour grapes of the
Look,
team, I guess.
look, you know what? His team's doing what they're trying to do for him, right? I mean,
Yeah,
that's
but you're the boss. You the boxer's the boss of that team. You control that team. You tell who's training. He could have shut that down. He's not. So
well, we'll see. But
it's
guy,
vicious.
there was so much more that happened on that card. Let's get into it right now. Let's start with the Wardley Fraser fight. So coming into this one, these guys had a 12-round draw. That was all the hype that this fight was amazing, and people were expecting this to be just the same. But Wardley has that insane power, but Fraser is the better boxer. So a lot of people were expecting Fraser to change a few things here and there and maybe be the guy that kind of comes out on this, but Wardley said no way, broke his face in the first round, man. I mean, not anticlimactic, but kind of anticlimactic considering how everyone was toting this fight and expecting this fight to be, fireworks. And yeah, it was fireworks, but in a different way. What did you see?
Well, we're going to see a trilogy. I'm assuming now we got a draw, we got a win. So I think we're going to see the rubber match. I'd assume. Um, yeah, he had that dent in the side of his face. Brutal. He had a minor surgery right after the fight. He's fine. He's going to recover. How well that'll hold up, I don't know. But he wants revenge, obviously. But that was vicious. That'll be one of the highlights of the year. Just
Yeah.
the side of his face with that
Well,
dent in it. That's
I
just
think
vicious.
I think Fraser came into the fight too quickly because he was already coming in like his nose hadn't healed from the last fight. So
Mm-hmm.
you're already walking in with a bullseye, literally bullseye on the center of your face that he can expose because we already knew. This is the thing. I think these guys have to do a better job of hiding their injury, right? I mean,
Work gets out. You got so many guys in sparring. There's always moles and leaks. It's
yeah,
so
yeah,
hard to
no, I
keep it.
get it, I get it,
Yeah.
I get it. But you got guys like Marab in the UFC that's showing the people the cut. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You don't do that. Like you're basically showing the guy where to punch you.
And the reason why he didn't postpone the fight is for one reason and one reason only. They want to lose on that big payday. And I don't blame him. At
No,
the end of the
no,
day, that's going to be shown on the 2024 review
yeah, yeah,
shows. That vicious
yeah,
knockout,
yeah, yeah.
caved in his face. He's
No,
out of surgery. He's going to
100%.
recover. There's too much money to not have this fight again. I don't know
Yeah,
what the third fight will bring. We've had a draw. We've had a KO. I don't know what to expect in the third fight.
Well, I don't know.
Anything can happen.
First off, it'll probably be a year or so from now by the time he heals up and gets back into it. So we'll see what happens there. The question
I
now,
say he'd be ready to go in 6 months.
well, that's what they say, right? But I
But
mean,
who knows?
who knows, right? I mean, your
Either way,
nose isn't even healed. We lost you here, Mr. Michaels. Where are you, buddy? Come back to me. Come back to me, Mr. Michaels. Chance. Mr. Chance Michaels is frozen. We're gonna look at his happy face here. Hey, there he is. You're back, buddy.
I didn't freeze at all. I seen your thing froze. I don't know whose it was, but either way, I
Mine
have right
froze
here.
on my end and yours froze on your end. We'll
Yeah,
just
yeah.
leave it as it. It's a part of the show. These
Yep.
things happen in a live recording, guys. So I'm not going to take this out, my friend. I'm going to leave it in there. But yeah, I guess we'll wrap up this round here. And it's done. Okay, so basically, for people who might have missed anything that we were talking about, Wardley Smith, these guys are gonna probably have to run it back one more time. But I think the question is, where does Wardley go from here? Is he now, ready for more top 10 guys, or is he
He
there
says
yet?
he wants a title shot. It's the first thing he said.
Well, I mean, I guess everybody wants that, right? You want to get into that top 10 echelon. So let's see where he goes from here. Speedy recover to Fraser.
Yeah.
Wardley is a beast. But you know what? I wanted to cover this in this round, but we'll give this its own round here. Let's talk about the Whitaker Cameron fight, man. There was a lot of hype coming into this fight as well. I personally felt that Whitaker was on the losing end of this fight up until the incident in the fifth round. And if you haven't seen it, both guys, WWE style, over the top rope. If this was a Royal Rumble, both guys would have been eliminated. But I mean, the fight kind of stopped there, and you had what's his name there, buddy?
Cameron?
Cameron and
Whitaker.
Whitaker. Whitaker couldn't continue. He could not continue. Claimed some leg injury, I believe, or something like that.
He did, yeah. Leg injury.
Falling over the top rope. There is people that are debating it now, saying that they want to see the X-rays because they felt that he took a dive and said he couldn't continue because he knew he was losing the fight. Do you see that?
I don't buy that. Let's just say the X-rays come out negative. Falling over the top rope and landing on your leg doesn't feel good. Believe me, I've done it many times. It still hurts. Now, maybe he didn't break anything. Maybe he didn't sprain anything, but maybe he hurt his leg where he felt, wait a minute, this is not part of boxing to fall over a top rope. I don't believe that he would.
And to have a guy fall on top of you.
Yeah, I don't believe that he would fake that to get out of the boxing fight. He's already in there. Yeah, he might have been losing. Maybe I don't believe that. Whether the X-rays, whatever they say, I don't care what they say. Some guy, a grown man, landed on top over the top rope. Maybe he landed a funny way and his knee was sore and he felt, wait a minute, I'm not 100%. I can't fight this way. That should never have happened. It was WWE style.
Yeah. I think also people are talking about what he did after the fight as well, which I think took away from him a little bit. Like, I don't know if Turkish will wanted to bring him back again, sort of a deal, because that's not how they want to do business, right?
You mean the airport?
Well, the airport, yeah. That's a public scene.
He's lucky he didn't get any more. They don't play around in Saudi Arabia. He took a fan's phone.
They don't
know when he smashed the fan's phone, and the Saudi Arabian security escorted him out of there. I don't know what the fan did, what he said, but you don't do that in Saudi Arabia, bud.
Well, you just
this is not North America.
You don't do that anywhere,
but let alone do that in a country like that where you don't want to go to jail there.
No, and Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren can't save you. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. You're upset.
They don't give a damn about human rights over there, but they'll treat you like an animal in a cage.
Look,
period.
You know what? I get it. You're upset. You're angry.
He also punched a hole in the wall in the dressing room too.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Just from that perspective, why would you welcome this guy back? I hate to say it. You have to have composure. I
wouldn't welcome him back.
Well, you're a professional athlete. You have to expect these things to happen from time to time. It's not like this was planned. It happened. You get back, you figure it out, you come back stronger. That's what you do. Smashing a fan's phone in the airport is wrong. Smashing a wall,
absolutely
right. I hate to say it. That's a very North American take on how to deal with something that doesn't go your way, right?
Absolutely.
That needs to change. You can't do that, especially when you're a combat athlete. Like, you've just lost so much by doing those two stupid things. It may not come up right now, but it's going to affect you in the long run, my friend, when it's time to book you for something else, because they're going to remember that. Turkish is a fair guy. but he's not going to stand for nonsense either,
No, absolutely not.
right? You saw that. He stood up to Canelo,
Yep,
right? He doesn't care who Canelo is. He stood up to him,
he did.
right? So people are going to talk trash about these guys. They're not going to be afraid to stand up to you, and it may not be in a verbal sense, but it will come up in a way where you will be affected by it financially. So if Whitaker can't justify what he did, this guy's probably going to lose out on millions of dollars in the next few years.
He'll still be able to fight in North America. Say
No,
sorry,
but
say
but but he's not going to
you heard
get
him.
the
He heard his brand.
exposure. He's not going to get that exposure that he would have gotten with Turkish.
Yeah,
Right?
probably not. But
That's
he'll
the
fight
way I'm
over
going
here
to see it.
still.
All right, brother, man. We got one more round to go here. We got Tim Tszyu fighting this weekend. Give me 1 second here, ladies and gentlemen. Bakra Murtasalov against Tim Tszyu. Okay, so amongst everything that's going on, Tim Tszyu is making his return after 7 months after losing to Fedora. Many say that he would have won that fight if he didn't get that cut. A lot of people
Who
are
Zoo would have won it?
Tszyu would have won it, yeah,
Nah,
if he didn't
that
get
guy was
that
too
cut
long
against
for him.
Fedora. Well,
Nah.
I mean, if he didn't get that cut, I think he would have been able. They're saying he would have been able to figure it out and get going in there. But after that fourth, getting that cut, his vision was impaired. He couldn't see. He took a lot of punches. I mean, no excuses. It is what it is. He lost,
I think he loses either way, but yeah, I hear what they're saying.
but he's back. He's coming back for the IBF super welterweight title here. Interesting fight. Kind of. He's coming in with a chip on his shoulder, man. How do you see this playing out?
Well, he's going up against undefeated fighter who is a champion, and he is rushed and he's tough as nails. And Tim Tszyu is not the invincible warrior that we once thought he was. As we see what Fedora did to him. He uses the size, uses reach on him, and he beat Tim Tszyu pillar to post. Tim Tszyu has been training in a UFC camp. He said if he didn't pick up boxing gloves, he'd be a UFC fighter.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine and dandy, but you're fighting the champion here who's undefeated. It's in Florida. This is a close fight, man. I don't know what to say on this one. Everybody's, they're making fun of each other. He's saying nobody's scared of Tim Tszyu, saying nobody's scared of you. They're talking trash. There's a little bit of bad blood there. Not crazy.
Well,
final prediction. What's that?
In a way, it's kind of the matchup of the two boogeymen because nobody wanted to face these guys coming.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But Tim Tszyu lost that
visible
aura about him now when he got smacked
right?
around.
Before that, nobody wanted to fight either one of these guys, right? Came in terms of Musalavi, he basically waited and waited his time. I mean, this guy's been the number one mandatory since 2020, but because of the Charlo brothers, kind of hijacking the titles and not giving anyone an opportunity and waiting for those big paydays, this guy has basically had to wait for the title to become vacant to get the title in the first place. So, sorry, your prediction though.
You know what? I don't know. I've kind of got a feeling that we've overhyped Tszyu. We've overrated him a little bit. I think he's been impressive. Don't get me wrong. I just don't think he's quite as dominant as we think he once was. Who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he comes out and kicks butt. He should have beat Fedora, though. There's no way he should have lost that fight. I'm going to take Tim Tszyu in a decision. Yeah. I'm going to take him in a split decision, but it's going to be close.
Yeah, I'm going to take Tim Tszyu by only because he's coming in with that chip on the shoulder for exactly the things that you said that a lot of people are saying, right? So no one's wrong in what they believe or what they think. I think Tszyu is going to come in with this kind of aggression and this chip on his shoulder. And the other thing is the fight's not in Australia, right? So dude has something to prove here. If he's going to get back on the horse, if he's going to be a viable name, he has to come out into this fight with the chip on his shoulder, which I think he will. And I think it's going to be Tszyu by decision.
We're both fighting a neutral ground, so yeah, it should be a good fight.
Right, man. I'm looking forward to it. It's this Saturday in Florida, guys. So make sure to check it out. All right, Mr. Michaels, anything happen in the world of boxing history?
Yeah, we got something from North America here. Baby Bull, Juan Diaz unified the WBO, WBA, and IBF lightweight titles in round 9, a TKO over the one and only Julio the Kid Diaz versus Diaz at the Sears Center in Illinois on this day in 2007, 17 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. How time flies, bro. How time flies.
Diaz versus Diaz.
Jeez. 2017 or 2007. That's insane. Just to think
17 years
about
ago.
how fast time goes, eh?
Goes fast, dude. Goes
So
fast.
fast, so fast. I feel like, yeah, yeah, time goes
And I
really
guess
fast.
I got Canadian history for us too. I guess if we're, I know he wasn't born here. I know he claims Canada now. He claims Montreal. So Arthur Beterbiev, undisputed champion of the world,
Yeah, yeah, he
Montreal's
calls
own now.
Montreal home. There you go.
Montreal's own, man. And the
I
guy
tell you
is
what, man.
an absolute beast.
No, 100%. And I said that on the little short that I created on the weekend as well. Well, worst comes to worst, at least as a Canadian, we got an undisputed champion coming home.
And
So,
if anybody wants to see and doesn't believe Bivol how strong Beterbiev is, go in there, do push-ups with your knuckles on bouncing on your feet, then go on your fingertips and then turn your hands. Ain't nobody doing that.
no,
But you're gonna break your wrist if you do that.
I think the best part of that weekend was the humility and the humbleness of both these guys at the end, regardless. You know,
We're gonna see a little bad blood coming out now. It's gonna come out a little bit because you're already
well,
seeing
if you're
happy with
building it
that.
up,
So, which is fine.
if you're
It's all
building it
fun.
up, if you're building it up for a rematch, you're gonna have to do a little bit of that, I guess, right? But I think that's gonna come more so from the teams opposed to the two guys there. Like Beterbiev almost got pretty angry at the press conference because that guy, the host of the press conference kept saying that, Eddie Hearns and Beterbiev, Eddie Hearns and Beterbiev, and Beterbiev turned to the guy, not to Eddie, goes, "Why do you want me to fight him? I'll destroy him. What's your problem, man?" Like, these little things like that people
Talk
are.
about a guy. Talk about a guy who's had a bad run of fighters. Eddie Hearn, man. This is he to me. He's the Tony Khan of boxing. Little more, actually, no, that's a low blow, Eddie. You're a step above Tony Khan, but like
Thank you.
kind of comes across as that kind of whiny, kind of nerdy, kind of guy. He kind of rubs me the wrong way, but he is a smart businessman. I cannot take that from him.
No, no, he knows what he's doing, man. He just had a
Knows what he's doing.
bad run of luck, man. I mean,
11-0 against Frank Warren's boys. Whew.
yeah, 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 yeah. But
Yikes.
here's the thing: even Warren was saying Bivol won. That's the funny thing.
I didn't hear what he said.
Yeah, they asked him. I mean, this was everyone's reaction right after.
Yeah, but you know what Bob said. Beterbiev won, right? So I mean, everybody's gonna say their fighter won.
I was gonna say what they have to say. No, but Warren was actually there representing Beterbiev.
Yeah, he is a conjunction with Top Rank. Yeah,
right. So, all right, brother, man. I tell you
great
what.
fight nonetheless, though.
Yeah, yeah. Let's wrap this puppy up. Let's get on our way. I see a little head popping out there in the corner of the screen. So everything is beautiful. Guys, I'm Bobby Sampson. He's Mr. Chance Michaels. We have just delivered you guys another amazing boxing show.
Yeah. And in the words of the great ACDC, those that download, like, and subscribe to the podcast, we salute you. Congratulations to Arthur Beterbiev from Montreal, or living in Montreal, Canadian undisputed champion at 39 years old is pretty freaking remarkable.
No, it's remarkable. And the guy that he had to beat to do it is also remarkable. So my hat's off to both men. Amazing fighters, amazing fight. Yes, people are going to complain one way or the other, but if we just stop for a minute and take a look at what we saw, either guy winning wouldn't have been a bad choice. That's all I'm going to say on that, right? But guys, I tell you what, it's that time of the day again. It's Friday Eve. It's Thursday. The weekend is upon us. If you're going to go out, have fun, do what you got to do. Just remember, find the safe way home. That's all that matters. Get home to your families. Go home to your loved ones, because that's more important than having that extra shot or that extra pull of that joint. It's not worth it. Also, guys and girls, if you're fighting for your dreams, if you're fighting for what you believe in, if you're fighting for what you want to achieve, do not stop fighting. The minute you stop fighting, people will come. Regardless of what you're doing, vultures will always be above you, waiting for you to break, because people around us don't want us to succeed, because they're too afraid to succeed themselves. Samp&Chance out.